Hello guys, so today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of covering Borderlands 3 rumors and speculation, we're actually going to be debunking some of the recent rumors, so we all don't get our hopes up before E3. So with that, let's get right into it. So first, let's just quickly talk about the leak that had the new Borderlands 3 logo, the June 10 date, and the alleged new Vault Hunter. If you've been around the Borderlands community, you most likely already heard of this leak and saw it, and even saw that it was quickly debunked by the community. So that's all old news. The reason I want to cover this is actually something that happens later. So Mental Mars even showed how the fake character was stolen from Dark Souls. But one of the more interesting pieces of information that came out of this is when a follower of Cactus HD posted his coverage of the leak on Twitter and tagged Randy Pitchford saying, quote, "How much should we consider things like this serious?" Before Randy Pitchford responded, another fan jumped in saying, quote, "I think the leak is probably bogus. I do like the idea of visiting new planets though, not necessarily the idea of space-based ship combat though." After that, Randy Pitchford finally responded saying, quote, "I think what you think is pretty smart." So obviously he's saying, yes, what I think you think is pretty smart, so the leak, bogus, confirms that it's fake, straight from Randy Pitchford. But also the idea that maybe Randy Pitchford is even confirming that we will be going to different planets in Borderlands 3. I know that at the end of Borderlands 2, they kind of set that up. But so far, Gearboxs has only been teasing just the one planet, Promethea, pretty heavily. And they really haven't mentioned or even talked about other planets, which isn't too surprising. The game is still not announced. But it's still interesting that now he's saying, hey, yeah, that's actually a good idea. Not space combat, but traveling to other planets. Keep your eye out for it. So that wasn't the real rumor I wanted to debunk today and cover. I just thought it was worth mentioning, and this video kind of fit that. So now let's talk about the claims that Borderlands 3 is in a deal with Microsoft to have exclusive marketing rights and will be shown potentially at this E3. So if you don't know, there was an article posted by Rectify Gaming, which has a good track record when it comes to exclusive Microsoft news. And their most recent claim was that Microsoft has gained the exclusive marketing rights for Splinter Cell, Borderlands 3, Cyberpunk 2077, and so many more AAA big title games. And this doesn't mean they'd only be on Microsoft consoles, it just means that Microsoft would get to show the trailers, show it at E3. Nothing too huge, nothing to get worried about if you're a PlayStation fan. But I actually made a whole video covering the topic earlier, so I'll link that down below if you guys want to see all the games, hear my complete thoughts, and what marketing rights could mean. But after this, people assume that Borderlands 3 will be shown during the Microsoft presentation at E3, which is why Gearboxs isn't set to present. It just kind of lined up perfectly. But then Randy Pitchford started answering fan concerns about this, and he's the CEO of Gearboxs and kind of the spokesperson if you don't know, and answers a ton of fan questions. So one fan asked, quote, "Can you clear up the confusion regarding MS, Microsoft, exclusivity related to Borderlands 3? Exclusive marketing rights suggested in an article, but unclear on platform release. I also understand if you're at a point you can't say." Randy then responds saying, quote, "I know absolutely nothing about any of this. You asking me about this is like me asking you to clear up confusion about a story someone wrote about how you have sold your sixth child's DNA to a clone. So it just doesn't make sense." You know, he's just saying this is how crazy it'd be for Gearboxs to do this, or we obviously didn't do this because that'd be like you selling your kid's DNA to a clone farm. It's just way out there, it doesn't make sense. And this isn't even the only time that he's denied this. Another example of a fan bringing up Microsoft exclusivity is they kind of go through this rant on Twitter complaining about the pre-sequel, but they say, on top of that, Gearboxs has signed Microsoft exclusive rights to advertising of Borderlands 3. Randy Pitchford then responded saying, "Where are you getting that? Gearboxs signed no such thing with Microsoft. How are these things becoming propagated as fact when there is zero basis in reality?" Then the fan doesn't respond and tags Morning After Kill, which is kind of like a low blow, but it's whatever. Morning After Kill then responds saying, quote, "It was reported by multiple reputable sources that Microsoft will have exclusive marketing rights for Borderlands 3 last week. Any official retort or statement to debunk otherwise would be very helpful." Randy then responds saying, "Clearly reported by 0 reputable sources. I think to be reputable, one must care about and pursue truth. Reposting news from others without checking the source is one of the failures of digital, quote, journalism." It does get straight to the point that it's not true. And one last example comes from another fan on Twitter who tags Randy Pitchford and says, "Is it true that Borderlands 3 would not be released for PlayStation because of Microsoft exclusive licensing?" And that's just when you just read the headline and you get too far into it. Marketing rights is not the same as being an exclusive, just for you guys. This is my own little tangent. Then Randy responds saying, "What's Borderlands 3? And 2, where are you getting this stuff?" So I wouldn't get my hopes up too high for Borderlands 3 at E3 2018. So I hope that since he is so vocally opposed to this, that it doesn't end up that he's just plain dumb or acting like he doesn't know. I've also seen some people say that 2K, who's the parent company to Gearboxs and Borderlands 3, their publisher for the most part, that they could have done this or made this deal with Microsoft without Gearboxs knowing. I would say that's almost impossible, especially with the state that Gearboxs is in. Whenever Borderlands 3 is announced, Randy Pitchford will for sure be there. He will know when it's going to be announced. He will be at the conference, wherever it is. And there's no way to get around that. I guarantee they have all those talks with each other with 2K, Take-Two, Gearboxs. 2K and Take-Two might set the time frame that they want the game to release, but it's a lot of discussion when the game will be ready. It's not right down to 2K, especially with how involved Randy Pitchford is and how valuable the game is at this point. I do not see it happening without him knowing. But let me know what you guys think down below. Do you still think 2K will show Borderlands 3 at E3 without Gearboxs or Randy Pitchford? Or do you think Randy Pitchford is just acting to make it seem like he doesn't know when it actually is true and he's just trying to throw off the community? Let me know all your thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys in the next one.